Hello, and welcome back to Well, That's Interesting, the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Marisa O'Reilly. And here with me today is the talented,
oh my,
the funny,
oh dear,
the street artist,
oh god,
the
what?
flawlessly tattooed,
I got a couple.
she has a lot, and the amazingly mohawked
Got a
Jill.
mohawk.
She does. Jill Cha-Cha, everyone. Jill Cha-Cha is here in the house.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, you said you'd introduce me this week, and you fucking nailed it.
Did I?
My God.
Ah,
Amazing.
I
Well
was
done.
pumped to do that.
You were. You looked me dead in the eye. and I peed a little. With fear. How intense you are.
It's so funny.
I'm
That
not
was
introducing
actually,
me.
that was my intention, was to make you pee a little bit.
Well, congratulations. For many reasons, Marisa O'Reilly, whose new short horror comedy film just made it to I believe, the international scene, Out for Blood Comedy Festival in Cambridge, UK.
Fuck yeah, it did.
Fuck yeah, it did. Pretty?
Pretty.
Tell me about it.
Pretty is the name of the film. I had a lot of free time once, just for the one time. No, I was isolating with my mom in Arizona, so there's nothing to do. So I did what anyone in my situation would do, and I made a horror comedy film in the bathroom.
Yep.
And
Brilliant.
it was
brilliance.
brilliant. $50 budget. Bought a tripod. Used an old sheet to create a ghost. It was my mom's ghost costume, and I didn't really think much of it. I made it, but then when I finished it, I was like, "This is kind of cute."
It is fantastic. The trailer is perfection. What's the website where people can reach it to watch it?
PrettyShortFilm.com. Everything is spelled the way you think it is. Isn't that wonderful? I worked really hard.
How easy is that?
I think I worked harder on the URL than I did on the film. I was like, what is perfect?
Yeah.
But yeah, it got into a lovely queer horror festival, the Out for Blood queer horror festival in Cambridge, UK. And I'm honored for it to be there. One whole festival. We did
One whole
it.
goddamn festival. There's going to be many more. I know that. I know it. I know it in my blood. Out for blood.
Out for Blood, hey.
Oh, God. Speaking of business, okay. This is Well, That's Interesting. And we have a new Instagram, Well, That's Interesting Pod. Email us at wellthatsinterestingpod@gmail.com. Please rate us.
Do it.
Please. So other people can enjoy the blessing that is this podcast.
Oh, yes. Our soothing voices talking about facts.
Our soothing accents. I just wanted to read one review on Apple that got me tickled.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
The title of the review is Love It. Okay?
Oh.
Many O's. Many O's.
I love a lot of O's.
Quote, "This podcast is informed and hilarious. I'm glad the murder hornets aren't going to get us, but I don't support the robot honeybees. I read Pray by Michael Crichton, and it's pretty much my worst fear now." End quote. Thank you, Nurmer Podcast, who fucking wrote it, who fucking listened to our in-betweenie about what's up with the murder hornets.
Yeah.
We covered that.
We did. Thank you, Nurmer. I need to investigate what the deal is with that name. I love it. It's hard to say, but I appreciate it. And I
Yes.
appreciate you, Nurmer.
Yeah. It's fun.
Podcast.
It's fun to say.
I'm getting into it, Nurmer.
Today, along with the Love It title, all those little O's, today's podcast is going to be about fish farts that nearly caused a war.
Holy shit.
All those little O's. All those little O's.
Our little fish farts. I'm pumped about this one. I may have had a hint about it a while back.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't wait for her to talk about this.
Let's talk about fish farts. But to talk about fish farts, we have to go a little bit back in time. So we're going to... Today's podcast is going to start with a little bit of a history lesson.
Into it. Here
and
for
then,
it.
And then we're going to go into the animal science-y shit. But let's talk about a little bit about history. And so we're going to pop back into the Wayback Machine.
Ooh.
And the sounds, the Wayback Machine. Wayback a bit. So that took us back to, not too far back, but to the early 1980s. 1982, which is not only the year of my glorious birth.
Oh.
Yes, but it was when the U.S. and its Western allies were in a 40 decades deep into the Cold War with the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc, known as the USSR. All right. Okay. Now, I'm not going to dive into the nitty-gritty of this Cold War, which could be a very not funny, huge podcast series on its own, or it could be very funny, depending on your,
on the point
perspective.
Of view.
Yeah, it could be funny. Cold War.
It's fun.
So fun. What I want to do is just provide a little bit of context and a little bit of the environment. You want to get a little bit of a taste of what's happening at this time.
The flavor
Of the Cold War. It sounds disgusting.
Sounds terrible. It sounds gray.
Yeah.
That's not even a flavor. It just imagine like gray ice cream.
Yeah. Tastes gray.
Gross.
Yeah. So here's a crude summary. Okay. So the Cold War generally spanned. Now I want to talk about the years. When you look at your shitty textbook, these are the years it gives you. It's from 1947 to 1991. And it's dubbed cold because this geopolitical battle had no real large-scale fighting directly between the two superpowers.
Right.
But they sure as hell funded and armed regional conflicts around the world to install dictators, rebels, guerrillas to do their fucking political bidding. So it's war by proxy, literally proxy wars around the world.
Proxy wars.
Yeah, we're great. You're great. Russians are great. Yeah, that's what we did. So basically the Soviets and the Americans were trying to take each other out via political tactics, all for political influence. They're trying to take us out with political tactics for global influence. Shit's getting real. They're not playing small games here.
No. Shit's getting global.
Shit's getting global. Each nation upped the ante with military visibility, like boasting how big your missile is or how... your fanciest submarines, okay? This small dick energy was tit for tat. Every time a nation sent a rocket to space, the other nation pounded its chest and said, look, we can do it too! And with the more money and the more propaganda, and that's basically what happened for 40 years. The space race, for example, was the most well-known science-y conflict. But
Science-y.
It's a science-y conflict.
I like that word.
But the threat of war between the nations was palpable and very much at the surface, as seen with the Cuban Missile Crisis. So shit could get real serious real quick. Okay. And, you know what else is real serious and real good?
What?
The products and services.
Oh my God, they're so good.
The products and services who sponsored this show.
Yes.
I mean...
They sponsor us.
If you build missiles, reach out to Well, That's Interesting. We will talk about how big your missile is.
Oh, yeah, we will.
How big your...
We'll do it within 30 seconds, and we'll make it sound real good. That sounds disgusting.
Sponsor us.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're two scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
That is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat Earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
We're the All Creatures Podcast. Each week, Angie and I explore and share amazing details about the many animals we share our world with.
Plus, Chris and I are both PhD scientists and educators. So we do the deep dives in the scientific research and then come back and share what we learn in a fun and casual way. We also speak with other scientists, animal experts, activists, and many other conservation enthusiasts from all over the planet.
So you can find the All Creatures Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms. So when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. Oh my God, those products.
They were amazing.
I can't believe they do the things that they say they do.
Every time.
Every time. They don't fail us.
Never.
I just cannot get over who sponsors the show.
They're amazing. I love them.
I love them so much. So reach us, and we'll do good things to your products.
Yeah, if you want us to love you, send us a goddamn email.
For the love of God.
Well, that's interestingpod@gmail.com. Come sponsor us.
Hey. Okay, so we're talking about how Soviets, the Americans, they're butting heads.
Right.
So you know when like two large doofuses on the playground go at it, and the fight affects the other kids in the playground?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so they're like, and the kids are like, I need to protect myself
Yeah.
from these ass hats.
Yes.
Yeah. So your guard goes up. You just want to protect yourself in any way possible. And the kid in this analogy is Sweden.
I see. Okay. I see.
I know. Okay, stick with me here. Okay, it's Swingin' Sweden.
I love it.
Stick with me. Swingin' Sweden in the 80s. All right? What a time. It was literally called the Roaring 80s
Oh, wow.
for Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Yuppie culture took off.
Oh, my God.
And so did the Stockholm Stock Exchange. Okay, everyone was double fisting krona, which was the currency at the time.
I was going to say gross.
So everybody's double fisting krona, especially their Finlandsvalp, or finance puppies, who were seen carrying their Juppinjal. Juppinjal. I would say that's close enough. Basically, big-ass mobile phones nicknamed the Yuppie Teddy Bear.
All right, let's pause
Teddy
for
bear.
a second.
Okay.
I have the most amazing image in my head,
Yeah.
which is basically just the 80s in America, but with better accents.
Yes.
Also, I love the term finance puppies.
Yes.
Why haven't we adopted that? We have finance bros, but that actually makes them sound borderline cool.
Yeah.
I would love to start calling them puppies because I think
It's
that would
never
bum
too
them
late.
out.
It's never too late. We're getting a new bailout in America, and I'm pretty sure all those Finanzvalp will love it. Yeah. Finanzvalp, I think, is how you say it. I could be wrong.
Close enough.
With all of their yuppie teddy bears.
Oh.
Right to the face. Just
Oh.
holding it real, real tight.
Oh.
So anyway, the country is making lots of dough and adopting adopting far-left progressive ideals
Okay.
and environmentalism. For example, they seriously considered phasing out nuclear power by 2010.
Wow.
Amazing. Did you know that they didn't?
I was going to say, why haven't I heard of this? And it's well past 2012, 10?
10. They gave it a good Swedish try. 10 out of 12 reactors are still running as of 2007. You can't flat pack a power station, but they did shut down 2, which is more than the United States. So it's pretty good.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I'm giving
to-
them a thumbs up.
thumbs up for that. Okay, so basically, Sweden isn't into what the Soviets are selling, right? So it's communism, nuclear power, etc. They're like living their fucking life. It's the complete opposite of what the Soviets are selling. So Sweden is deciding to bulk up their navy. Their navy, which is called the Swedish Royal Navy, which sounds nothing Swedish at all.
No.
Yeah, it does not at all. So why did they bulk up their navy? Okay, so geographically, the only thing separating them from the USSR was the Baltic Sea.
Okay.
So it was a bit too close for their liking. So it was like literally like, if you look at a map, it's Sweden, the Baltic Sea. You've got Lithuania and different countries, and then right next to that you have like these smaller countries, and then you've got like Moscow's right there.
Right.
So, okay. Another reason why it was a little too close for comfort, in 1981, a Soviet sub did end up on the shores of Sweden. The Royal Navy actually had to rescue the Soviet crew, and this sent the Swedes into like a little panic, like, oh shit, they may be actually swimming around down there, and the only way to find out is if we gotta bug the Baltic Sea.
We gotta bug the Baltic Sea.
We gotta drop some mics. We just gotta swim around. We gotta find out what the fuck's going on down there and listen constantly with paranoid precision.
Yes.
And boy, howdy, did they listen.
Oh, man.
Right? Weeks of listening turned to months. Months of listening turned into years. They recorded hundreds and hundreds of tapes of what they eerily called, quote, the typical sounds.
Oh, wow. I was expecting, like, the monster sounds.
Yeah.
Or, like, the sea monster sounds. Or, like...
The Soviet sounds? No, it's called the typical sounds.
The typical sounds. Wow.
Yeah.
Unimpressed.
They were just very to the point, which I guess,
Yeah, that's fair.
So-
It's happening all the time, so it's typical.
So, yes, something is down there. Moving, surrounding their shores. But what the Swedish fuck is it? So, up until 1994,
Okay.
12 fucking years
Oh, my God.
of listening, okay? And hearing these fucking things.
Sounds like the worst Coke binge ever.
Yeah. So it's 12 years of the Royal Navy sending fucking boats, fucking submarines. They're sending helicopters. Every time they hear this typical sound, they're out to go find it, whatever the hell it is, okay? To track, to capture this unidentified sea object, they were certain were the Soviets. But they never found anything.
Oh, my God.
For 12 years.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Okay. The Soviet Union falls in 1991, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Swedish Prime Minister, he's like, you know what? Hey, bitch, your country's in disarray. I'm going to strike. I know you're in my lakes. I know you're in my seas. I'm going to fucking strike. You're in disarray. So how did he strike? When the enemy is weakened?
I don't know. Oh, underwater.
Yeah.
With the Navy.
What he did, he wrote a letter.
Oh. Let me say this out loud. Typical. Ugh, guffaw. That's hilarious.
Yeah. He wrote a fucking letter. A stern, finger-wagging letter. Carl Bildt, B-I-L-T-D, hopefully I'm saying it right. He told Boris Yeltsin to fuck off nicely. He said, keep your damn fleet in line or else you'll see how big my Swedish balls are, please. You know, it was a public feud through the mail.
The mail.
Yeah, so Boris is like, dude, it ain't us. I got other shit to worry about. Stop sliding into our DMs. It's been fucking years. Boris needs to concentrate on rebuilding a country.
Yeah.
Russia fell apart. I'm sorry, Soviets fell apart. It's becoming Russia.
Super stressful.
And Sweden's like, we want answers.
What answers?
So tension is building between these two leaders publicly for the first time. All of this other shit was just down low, top secret shit. But now these two leaders are just like feuding publicly, and it's like the public's like, what's going on? And this is during the end of the Cold War, so it's even more unusual. Okay, so the Swedish government tries to cool its heels, right?
Right.
And in an unprecedented move, they declassify the typical sounds. They're like, maybe we should get someone else to analyze these tapes other than military men who already convinced themselves subs are in the Baltic Sea. Maybe.
And who are probably high on coke.
Right.
Roaring 80s.
We're in the 80s. Roaring 80s. Ladies and gentlemen, just Corona. Yeah, so they're just drooling for evidence, like video, pictures, something more than sounds to justify sanctions or even an attack. So, I mean, how about that? They don't want to start a war without verifying true threats. I mean, that's a thing. Take notes. Good for them. So they're like, think about it. We've been hearing these supposed subs for a while. Nothing's happened to us, though, which is super weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in 1996, 14 years of sounds.
Oh my God.
Around.
Oh my God.
14 years of hearing this shit, and they're like, but there's no action. What's happening? They reach out to a professor at the University of Southern Denmark. His name is Marcus Wahlberg. He was asked to lead a team of bioacoustic specialists in the now declassified Sound War Room beneath the Bergen military base in Stockholm. Okay?
All right.
And he was the first civilian to hear the typical sounds.
Okay.
All right. And in an article called, actually, I apologize. It was a website that I found called Russia Beyond, and I stayed on way long. I stayed on this website way longer than I should have, and I know the CIA is like bugging my phone now. So.
Oh my God. I'm going to try so hard not to look at that website at 1 a.m.
Russia Beyond. Okay. This is an article from October 31st, 2017. And this is a quote from Marcus about...
Mark.
Mark and the Funky Bunch. This is his quote about the sounds. He says, quote, I imagined something like a pinging sound or like a sound of rotating propellers, but it was nothing like that. It really sounded like someone frying bacon, like a popping and hissing sound coming and going, like small air bubbles released in water. Not at all what I have imagined from a submarine.
Weird. Suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Suspicious.
It's like, it sounds like frying bacon.
Okay. In the middle of the ocean. Okay. Sea. Sorry, the sea. Not the ocean.
What a hell of a Baltic Sea. So Marcus and the team kind of have a light bulb moment, and they head to a local market to buy, you guessed it, Baltic herring.
Ah.
That's right. They lowered the herring into a little pool, and they gave him a little squeeze. And Jesus Christ, yes indeed, the bubbles that were expelled from the fish and the sounds from the sounds from their butts,
Oh my God.
matched the military recordings.
Y'all,
You know?
I now understand the title fully.
So, I know what you're thinking. Also, how the fuck did the Royal Navy not consider animals with these sounds, right?
Great question. That's the first thing I considered. Monsters.
Monsters, yeah, exactly. So it turns out they did do research into animal farts, which, can you imagine that Zoom meeting?
I would be a fly on that wall. I'd be a fish on that wall any day.
Yeah. So they did do research into animal farts, whales, seals, walruses, but no one thought herring could pass gas at that massive volume.
Because they're teeny tiny.
They're itty bitty,
Ah,
right? So how do these fish do it? And fucking why?
they had to release some gas.
It's fucking... All right, so we're going to take a peek into the beautiful ass of a fish after we take a beautiful fucking peek into the ass of these ads.
Oh my God. I
That's
cannot
right.
wait to get my face in the ass of these ads.
That's this. Don't you want to be that product? Sponsor us.
20th Century Studios presents Vacation Friends 2, now streaming only on Hulu.
Look at us, all together again. We just wanted to give you guys a real honeymoon.
Shots!
Now streaming
He was just released from jail.
Where can I get a drink around here?
back on vacation
This place is nice. It's drug lord nice.
I'm sorry, drug lord nice?
with more baggage.
Ever since he showed up, he turned this relaxing vacation into total chaos. Who does that?
Vacation Friends 2, rated R, now streaming only on Hulu.
Oh my God, we're back.
We're back.
I can't. I'm constantly amazed by the products that sponsor this show.
I want 3 of each.
At least.
Yeah.
At least 3. I don't know what's better than the products that sponsor the show, other than maybe a fish butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would say between the products and the fish butt, I would go with the products. But the fish butt would be a close second.
the fish butt is a close second. Luckily, we're talking about fish butts today. Okay, so we're talking about Baltic herring. Now, Baltic herring is actually very similar to the Atlantic herring. So much so, they don't even have a distinctive and separate genome. I think they're considered different because their location, and they're a little bit smaller. Atlantic herring's like 18 inches, and like Baltic herring is like a little bit tinier. Yeah, itty bitty. But everything else is exactly the same. They congregate in ginormous fucking schools that consist on average to hundreds and even thousands of herring.
Holy shit.
So the largest school measured, okay, get this,
Oh my God.
was 4 cubic kilometers thick, which contained about 4 billion fish.
That is a lot of fish.
That's like half the earth in a school of fish.
Oh.
Half the human population in a school of fish. One school of fish.
I am overwhelmed by this school.
Yeah, and that was one school of herring.
One.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's like a little earth just in our ocean, just floating around. Does that not blow your mind?
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about the farts.
There you go. I want you to keep the farts in mind, okay?
It's hard to forget them.
Okay. All right. So, despite the crowding, they are professionals at maintaining cruising speed. They have excellent hearing. And so why do these numbers and these facts, why are they relevant? Okay. So a fish maintains its buoyancy thanks to a gas-filled organ called a swim bladder.
Ah, I've heard of that.
Yes. If a fish wants to ascend, they do this by gulping with their mouths, right? And if they're a herring, so they're intaking water and air, right? So that's how they ascend. But if they're a herring, say hundreds of thousands of herring, I don't know, being approached by a Swedish vessel that's being driven by a bunch of paranoid military men.
Probably on coke.
Yeah, exactly. You bet the fuck they're going to haul ass out of there and descend, to go down, right? To get the hell out of the way. So herring are very special in that their swim bladder is connected to their gut tract. So
amazing.
All the extra air goes right out the butt.
Right out the butt.
Right out the butt. This causes massive numbers of bubbles and sound. Sound which creates a domino effect in the school, alerting one fish and the next fish and the one after that to expel and get the fuck out of there. So
farting away.
Farting away, baby. Yes. So they're excellent hearing, and their ability to swim extraordinarily fast. This is okay.
I'm kind of obsessed with herring right now.
It's pretty amazing.
Although I'm also glad I'm not a herring, because if I was scared and trying to run away,
I just think of you on the plane from episode 1.
Oh my God. I just don't want to be the person who farts when they're scared, you know?
I think it's an incredible evolutionary tool.
Really?
Just think about it. If someone's trying to attack you and you let it rip,
yeah,
it might work.
They might be like, you know what?
Pass.
I'm gonna get a better smelling one. I'm gonna get one that doesn't make me laugh a little bit with my mouth closed.
Yeah, it's hard to stab when you're laughing.
Yeah.
So
you can't kill someone while you're laughing. That's just fucked up.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
So that's a self-defense. Self-defense by Well, That's Interesting.
You're welcome.
Learn how to fart on cue.
Yep.
Okay, so these herring, they're amazing. They cruise at a cruising speed. It's 42 inches per second. That's cruising. So if they're scared, just imagine how much faster they're going while farting.
Oh my God.
So they're going more than 3 feet a second when they're calm. Okay?
Oh my God. Okay.
So imagine that speed, that amount of farts through thousands of fish. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The enormous numbers of terrified fish farting their way to safety away from paranoid military men hell-bent on finding something that isn't there. All of this nearly caused a war.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Not so typical, huh?
Not so
typical farts.
No.
Typical herring.
Yeah. And that caused years. I have to say, the restraint of the Swedes to listen for 14 years and not find something, good on them. But also fish farts.
Also fish farts. Yeah, come on, guys.
I mean, just I don't know what to say with that other than subscribe. Rate. We have a hell of an episode. We're going to do an in-betweenie, I think, next.
Yeah, a little baby episode.
A little baby episode that's going to involve your favorite pop song.
Oh, my God.
So please, come on back. I know y'all do. So, I don't know. Anything else you got to say, Marisa Riley?
I think that's it. Follow us on Instagram. And subscribe.
Well, That's Interesting Pod.
Well, That's Interesting Pod.
Send us your facts.
Send us your facts.
For the love of God. We want to hear the things you know, and we'll read them. We'll also read your reviews also, just like Nurmer.
Yeah, because like our products and services, We love you.
Yeah, that's right. Stay interesting, everybody.
Please do.
Bye.